Nate Saunders here with a rather chilly Liam Lawson. Liam, I think I've seen the example of a New Zealander away from home comforts in the heat, struggling a little bit. How's it other than the cold? How's it being back in Vegas?
Good. Honestly, it's me making the mistake of not wearing anything underneath this. I don't know what I was thinking. I knew it was going to be cold, but it's cool. It's cool to be here. Obviously excited for my first race in Vegas. Getting to drive down the strip. Yeah, it's exciting. So these temperatures are going to make it very tough, I'm sure. I know it was last year, so and it's even potentially colder this year.
I want to talk about last year because we did an interview with you here at ESPN last year, and you were in that weird position where you were kind of not racing. That went on for about 12 months where you weren't doing anything. You then got 3 races in 3 weeks. What was it like to jump back into racing and kind of, they say, good things come in threes a lot of the time. What was it like coming back and getting straight back into it like that?
It was, it's always tough when you're watching. It's always tough. The difference, I guess, is I drove last year, so I knew when I was watching this year, there's a period before F1 where you look at the drivers and you wonder what it's like to climb in the car and, go through all the procedures. But I knew what it was like because I did it. So watching the guys drive, do the sessions, the meetings, I was sitting there watching going, I miss that feeling so much. So it was tough, but obviously exciting then to be back in the car. And I think maybe I let out some of that, frustration of being out of the car for a while. And but I've been loving it, and I'm excited for the next 3.
So there's so few sports that are like that, where you're kind of in, at the age that you're at, and suddenly it's like, okay, we want you to come race for us, but you're just going to have to wait for the opportunity and no outlet to kind of go elsewhere to do it. So really, it must have given you a really interesting perspective coming back, like you say, like of how fragile this opportunity can be in the long run.
I think, most pro sports, they have a lot more than 20 seats or, positions or whatever available, in whether it's football or the NFL or, whatever sport, big sport. I think most of them, they have a considerable amount of positions, available. And in Formula 1, there's 20 seats, and that's it. So, you have plenty of guys coming through from all sorts of different categories, and there's just nowhere for us to go. So that's what's tough about our sport, but also what makes it so, it makes it the pinnacle.
Yeah. I just got distracted by Elvis walking past. He was impressed to see you. He's just over there. I wanted to say, every time I hear your name, he's just walked by.
Okay.
Every time I hear your name, Liam, I've got a song stuck in my head that I keep seeing on my TikTok feed. I don't know if you've seen it, I don't know if you've heard it.
Oh,
but if I say I'm Liam Lawson, do you know what the next line is?
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know who made it, but I think sounds like I don't know. Are they Australian maybe, or?
It sounds Australian or Kiwi. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't part of making that song, but
well, I was gonna say, because I know you're into music. I wasn't sure, like,
no, it wasn't a collab, but
it would have been a pretty egotistical collab,
yeah,
wouldn't it?
Exactly. I respect it. I mean, it's obviously I don't want to come across super aggressive, but I think it's funny.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's a great song, but I mean, within that,
it's a great song.
Yeah, I mean, like, TikTok's full of that stuff now, like, and it just bounces around the head. I guess the sentiment behind it, like, you came in and immediately ruffled the feathers of Fernando. You fought with Checo. You mentioned, like, letting a lot of that frustration out in the first 3 races of staying away. But was it important for you to kind of, I suppose, put a marker down of the kind of racer you want to be coming back after so long? Because so much of the sport is about reputation.
It wasn't that I let out the frustration on drivers or in my racing. Honestly, I raced both of them exactly how I'll race anybody on the grid. And I don't, any of the moves that happened on track for me, they were, there was no frustration in those moves. It was that's how I race. That's how I've always raced, and will continue to do. So, I think it's, I know that I'm in here late in the season. These are important races, and for me, I can't afford to leave anything on the table.
Yeah, and I mean the noise around Red Bull and RB/VCarb. I know that we always say RB, and I get a slap on the wrist for saying RB. There's so much noise around that, and the seat with Perez, etc. Is the noise outside a lot louder than it is internally for you guys? Because you guys have to deal with these questions all the time about that situation, and it seems like sometimes it kind of becomes a story every weekend. There's some new rumor, there's some new thing to respond to. Would that be a fair statement, that it's a bit louder?
I think the noise is definitely much larger outside of the team. I think the team do a very good job, and we as professionals know what we're here to do, and we're focused on that. And within the team, I have my focus is on each weekend and to do the best job I can. I'm not really looking at anything else or next year or what potential opportunities are about in the future. So that's for everybody else to speculate, and obviously that's a very common thing in F1 and in social media, and so I guess that's part of it. But within the team, I think we do a good job to keep it very very channeled.
It must be crazy as a driver, just the amount of reports you must read about yourself, about your future, and sometimes having no control over those things. I can't imagine what that's like, being on that side of it. Is that one of the things you have to kind of just get used to as a driver? For example, I saw you just talking about it in the media session, but like sometimes quotes can just kind of from different podcasts can get taken out of context.
For me, I've learned pretty quickly to just not read it, honestly, because I feel like a very high percentage of what's getting put out in the press, even quotes from us, is not really quotes, or they're taken out of context, and so I learned that pretty fast, and honestly, I just don't read it. I'm pretty well off social media, to be honest, at the moment. It's been such a busy couple of weeks. Obviously, there's been a small break now, but a triple header into another triple header now. During this time, there's not really much time to be. There's no point looking at that stuff. We have enough to focus on here, so yeah. Nice.
And last one, I know you had a bit more time on your hands last year in Vegas, but how much of Vegas can you actually enjoy being a driver here? Because you're so locked into what you guys want to do. Are you able to kind of get out and experience a bit of it, or not so much?
I mean, honestly, we've done some pretty cool promotional stuff over the last few days, and I've seen a little bit of it and got to experience some of Vegas, but obviously we're here for one job, and the week leading up to the race, that's all we're really thinking about. So yeah, for me right now, I'm pretty focused on the race weekend.
Nice one. Liam, thanks very much.
Thank you.